Good morning, students. We studied the parallel ranges of Himalayas in the last class. The first point is the Greater Himalayas. Now let us discuss the second point, Lesser Himalayas. So the Lesser Himalayas are located to the south of Greater Himalayas. These Lesser Himalayas are also known as Himachal. Dear students, what are called Himachal? Lesser Himalayas are also known as Himachal. So these Lesser Himalayas are 60 to 80 kilometers wide, 1500 to 4500 meters high. So the eastern part of the Lesser Himalayas have thick forests and they have also parallel ranges. They are Dhauladhar, Pir Panjal, Nagatib, Darjeeling, Mahabharat, etc. These Lesser Himalayas are also consist of many valleys. The famous valleys are Kashmir Valley, Kangra Valley and Kulu Valley. Lesser Himalayas are also famous for hill stations like Shimla, Ranikhet, Nainital, Darjeeling, etc. So let us know more detail through visual aids. Dear students, look at this map. So the yellow color indicates the Lesser Himalayas. Lesser Himalayas is the second parallel ranges of Himalayas. So these ranges are located to the south of Greater Himalayas. Then they have 60 to 80 kilometers wide and 1500 to 4500 meters high. They have thick forest, valleys and parallel ranges. The parallel ranges like Pir Panjal. So Pir Panjal range is second one, Dhauladhar, Nagatib, Mahabharat, Mussoorie and Darjeeling are the parallel ranges. So dear students, look at this Kashmir Valley. That is so beautiful. So Lesser Himalayas have beautiful valleys like Kashmir Valley, next Kangra Valley and Kulu Valley. Lesser Himalayas are consist of many hill stations. Number one, Shimla, so beautiful. Second one, Mussoorie. Third one, Nainital. Next one, Ranikhet. Next one, Darjeeling. So these are the hill stations of Lesser Himalayas. The third parallel range of Himalayan mountains is Shivalik Hills. Shivalik Hills are outermost ranges or foothills. So the foothills are outermost ranges located to the south of the main Himalayas. So hence the Shivalik Hills are also known as outer Himalayas or foothills of Himalayas. So these outer Himalayas are lowest range with a height of 600 to 1500 meters and the width vary from 15 to 150 kilometers. So these Shivalik Hills extend from Jammu Kashmir in the west to Arunachal Pradesh in the east. They have flat bottom longitudinal structure valleys. Hence these are called dunes. For example, Dehradun. Yes students, what are called dunes? Shivalik Hills have flat bottom longitudinal structure valleys. Hence they are also known as dunes. For example, Dehradun. So let us more detail through visual, audio visual aids. The third parallel range of Himalayan mountain is Shivalik Hills or foothills. So these Shivalik Hills are outermost ranges, hence it is called outer Himalaya. So these are extend from Jammu and Kashmir in the west to Arunachala Pradesh in the east. They have with a height of 600 to 1500 meters high and width vary from 15 kilometers to 150 kilometers. So they have flat bottom. They have flat bottom structured valley, so which are known as dunes. For example, Dehradun. Dear students, what are called dunes? Shivalik hills have flat bottom structural valleys which are known as dunes. So, for example, Dehradun. Examination point of view, what are the advantages of Himalayas or importance of Himalayas? Will be asked one question in public examination for 3 marks. Number 1, Himalayas act as natural frontier and prevent foreign invasion. Second one is they are prevent cold winds from Central Asia. Third one, they obstruct the rain-bearing winds and this causes heavy rainfall. Next one, their slopes have thick forest and the slope of Himalayas have thick forest and it is ideal for plantation crops. So for example, tea in Assam. Next one, they have a storehouse of minerals. They are birthplace of many rivers like Gangotri and Yamunotri. Then they have many waterfalls. So these waterfalls are useful to generate hydroelectric power. Let us know more detail through visual aids. Importance of Himalayas. So Himalayan mountains are act as natural frontier and they prevent foreign invasion. Second one, they prevent the cold winds from Central Asia. Third one, they obstruct rain-bearing winds and this causes heavy rainfall. These are called southwest monsoon seasons. Next one, their slopes have thick forest and ideal for plantation crop like tea in Assam. Next, they have a storehouse of minerals. They have birthplace of many rivers like Gangotri and Yamunotri. They have also waterfalls. It is very useful to generate hydroelectric power. So these are the importance of Himalayas. The second physical division of India is the Northern Great Plain. The Northern Great Plain lies between Himalayas and the peninsular plateau. The Northern Great Plain is formed by the devotional work of the 3 river systems like the Gangotri, Setlas and Brahmaputra. The largest alluvial soil tract in the world. Next one, the Northern Great Plain extending from east to west a length of 2500 kilometers and the width varies from 240 to 340 kilometer width. So it has covered 7 lakh square kilometer. The Northern Great Plain is fertile alluvial soil. It is very flat. So the Northern Great Plain is formed by the fertile alluvial soil deposited by the rivers flowing from the Himalayas. The Northern Great Plain is very flat, so hence there is no rocks are available on the surface. Next we goes to the importance of Northern Great Plain. Northern Great Plain is suitable for irrigation and agriculture because it has perennial rivers and most fertile alluvial soil. Another importance of Northern Great Plain is so the level land. This level land supports a network of roads, railways and means of communication. and it is also useful for industrialization, urbanization, trade, etc. And Northern Great Plain have many pilgrim centers. Hence, we know more detail through visual aids. Dear students, the green color indicates Northern Great Plain. The second physical division of India is Northern Great Plain. So, Northern Great Plain lies between the Himalayas and between the peninsular plateau. So, these Northern Great Plain formed by the deposition of alluvial soil by the three river systems, the Setluj, the Ganga and Brahmaputra. Look at this plain. The grass is grown on this area. So this shows that Northern Great Plain are very fertile and flat. Next one. So this is the highest, the largest alluvial tract in the world. So alluvial soil is the largest tract in the world, and it covers 7 lakh square kilometer and a length of 2,500 kilometers, and it is very flat, and the rocks are not exposed on the surface. So dear students, the importance of Northern Great Plain. So Northern Great Plain is very suitable for irrigation. Look at this sprinkler. So the crop are grown here. Dear students, irrigation is nothing but supply of artificial water to agricultural land. This is sprinkler. You know, very beautiful. Next one. Yes, Northern Great Plain are suitable for transport and means of communication. Next one, so this is very useful for industrialization and urbanization. So they have development of trade. It is very useful for trade. So it has many historical cities. It means Northern Great Plain have many historical places or pilgrim centers. Dear students, the third physical division of India is the peninsular plateau. Let us know more detail about this. Peninsular plateau is the largest physical division of India. So which is the largest physical division of India? The peninsular plateau is the largest physical division of India. So it was being a part of Gondwana land. The peninsular plateau lies between the south of Northern Great Plain. The peninsular plateau occupies 16 lakh square kilometer. So it is triangular in shape. Its apex is formed by Cape of Kanyakumari in the southern extremity. The peninsular plateau bounded by many hills, plateaus and etc. They are Aravali Hills, Vindhyas, the Satpuras, the Western Ghats, the Eastern Ghats, the Chota Nagpura Ranges, Deccan Plateau, Malwa Plateau, etc. The Aravali Range is the oldest fold mountain, lies to the northwest. In Aravali Range, Guru Shikhar is the highest mountain peak in Aravali Range. So it is located in Mount Abu Hills. Mount Abu is famous for Prajapita Brahmakumari Ishwariya University. Next one, Vindhyas Range. Vindhyas Range flanks the northern edge of the Narmada Valley. The Satpura Hills. Satpura Hills runs east-west direction south of the Vindhyas, and also Eastern Ghats and Western Ghats. The examination point of view, what are the difference between the Eastern Ghats and Western Ghats, or Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats will be asked for 2 marks. Eastern Ghats are parallel to east coast of India. The Western Ghats are parallel to west coast of India. They extend, the Eastern Ghats extend from Mahanadi Valley towards Nilagiri Hills. The Western Ghats are extend from Tapi Valley in the west to Kanyakumari in the south. So the Western Ghats are extend from Tapi Valley in the north to Kanyakumari in the south. The Western Ghats are also known as Sahyadri. The Eastern Ghats are not continuous, but in the Eastern Ghats, Amarakonda is the highest mountain peak. In Western Ghats, so the Western Ghats steep on western side and smooth on eastern side. Bora Ghat, Tal Ghat, Pal Ghat are the important passes. Western Ghats continue as Anaimalai, Padani, Kadamam hills and joins the Nilagiri hills also. In Western Ghats, Anaimudi in Anaimalai range is the highest mountain peak in South India, about 2695 meters. Dear students, which is the highest mountain peak in South India? Very good. Anamudi. Anamudi in Anamalai range is the highest mountain peak in South India. Let us know more detail through visual aids. Dear students, so this color, brown color, indicates the peninsular plateau. The peninsular plateau is the largest physical division of India. So this is bounded by many hills, plateaus and other ranges. So it is in triangular shape. So it is formed a part of the Gondwana hill. So it was being a part of Gondwana hill and it occupies 16 lakh square kilometer and its apex is formed the Cape of Kanyakumari in the southern extremity. Next. So peninsular plateau is bounded by many hills and valleys and plateaus. Number one, Aravali range. Next one, Vindhya range and Satpura range. Next one, the western Chota Nagpura plateau, Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats and Deccan plateau. Malwa plateau. So Aravali range. So Aravali range, the oldest fold mountain, lies to the north of peninsular plateau. Next one, Guru Shikhar. So it is Guru Shikhar. Guru Shikhar is the highest mountain peak in Aravali range, which is lies in or located in Abu Hills, which is known as Mount Abu. So Guru Shikhar is the highest mountain peak in Aravali range. So Vindhya and Satpura range. So Vindhya range flanks on the northern edge. So northern edge of Narmada Valley. Next, so Satpura range. So Satpura range runs in the east-west direction of the Vindhyas in between the Narmada and Tapi. Narmada river and Tapi river. So Satpura range is located here. Next, the Western Ghats are parallel to the west coast of India and from Tapi river to valley to Kanyakumari in south. And these Western Ghats are also known as Sahyadri. Then they are very continuous from north Tapi valley to Kanyakumari and steep. They are very steep on the western side and gentle slope towards eastern side. Tal Ghat, Pal Ghat, Bor Ghat are the important passes in the Western Ghats. Then Anaimudi. So Anaimudi about 2695 meters. It is the highest mountain peak in the South India. So which is the highest mountain peak in South India? Anayamudiyinda Anamalai range. So next one we goes to Eastern Ghats. So Eastern Ghats are almost parallel to the east coast of India. Then they extend from Mahanadi in the east, in the north side to join the Western Ghats at Nilgiri Hills in south. They are lower, they are very lower than Western Ghats, and they are not continuous. They are not continuous. So in Eastern Ghats, Amarakonda is the highest mountain peak in Eastern Ghats. Which is the highest mountain peak in Eastern Ghats? Amarakonda is the highest mountain peak in Eastern Ghats. Dear students, I am going to conclude today's class. I will be the remaining things will be discussed in next class.